Preceding Sister Zainab, we will have a poem featuring all of the poets to kind of inspire this line. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. When the earth is shattered, when the bones that breathe in remembrance of beauty are broken, when the skies cry blood, when the sands weep red, when there are thirsty children and women, when the master of martyrs has been murdered, when Zainab's legs cannot stand, when left alive is no man, no hands to raise to the skies, when hijab was removed and they would rather die, revolution was started inside, every human being with a new spark come alive, stampeding souls exploding like when planets collide. When we make sure that their sacrifice and struggle did not go in vain, we stand here tonight, remembering Hussein. In the month of Muharram in the year 61 after the migration, a reflection of truth and light was slaughtered on the plains of Karbala. Along with a few loyal companions, they stood against an army of thousands but were willing to give everything they had to preserve the message of Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam, and the grandfather of his beloved Hussein. The sands have turned.
The earth has changed. The land has been colored with its purity and colored back again. But his flag still waves,
echoing in the wind. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now I'd like to welcome Sister Zainab, who will introduce her topic of Karbala through her poem, The Awakening. Salawat.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Today my heart breaks. The room silences as the scream of Ya Hussein echoes not only through this room but through the hearts and through the minds. I escape reality and I allow myself to find myself during the battle of Karbala where Sukaina cried, "Oh Abbas, I need mine. My throat is too dry in this hot desert sun, but I will try. I will try not to complain, but see, there's no gain. This pain, oh this pain, it escalates. It breaks a piece of silence in the night. It's so hard to protect your brother when he doesn't allow you to fight. Oh Hussein, Imam Hussein, I'm Abbas now. I was Sukaina, now I'm your brother, but I do not ask how. I allow this dream to continue inside my head. Oh Master Hussein, please, allow me to fight in this war, I beg." "No, I cannot. I see, but you see, there's another fault. Your daughter, your nieces and nephews, your son, they're all so thirsty, O Imam, from the scorching hot sun. This isn't fun, we haven't won. Each time you decline me, it's a bullet in my heart like a gun. But now, I have a brighter thought, one that I'm sure you would never have fought. I use these tired children as the victims in my plot. It's so hot. You can feel it's so hot. Allow me to be the one who brought you cold water in this heated day, one who took all the dryness in your throat away. This is not to hurt you in any way. Oh Master, please, allow me to bring water and take the pain away. I boarded my horse with an empty pouch and sword. Of course, let's not forget, my banner representing submission to our Lord. I will go to the river and fetch some water for this camp. With that, we can fight even stronger for Islam. I'm riding and fighting so hard, but they ambush me, brother. They pull out their swords, their bows and their arrows, they fire at me. How can they? Can't they see? I'm the brother of you, O Hussein, son of Ali, but alas, they set me free. Come to an end my life, this journey. There are footsteps, I can hear them, but I need to speak to you. So I plead, let me speak to Hussein before you kill me. But I was wrong, so wrong, oh brother, it was you. I'm so sorry to leave you here with no company, but I beg of you, oh brother, just allow me to see your beautiful face. Wipe the blood off my eyes, wipe them clean, please, I can't breathe. I need to see you and feel your presence in my last moments, my last seconds. I depart, I'm gone, it's black. But I'm back again, I'm Hussein, it's hot, but it's so cold. Now for sure my steady back has broke. My brother, he who I now mourn, has left me with nothing more than the women and children at camp. But surely my time has come. I summon Zainab to fetch me my horse. She cries, how could I tell her to bring me my horse of death? Oh Sister Zainab, can't you see this is how I have to represent Islam and Allah? I apologize for leaving you not content. You kiss my head and my neck, my chest. These were the wishes of my mother, alayha salam. You break my heart, you really do, but I must return to the battlefield to fight those brutes. Oh Sukaina, my daughter, don't cry now. Please Sukaina, save your tears, for more struggle will come about. So kiss me now, and as I make my way down the sand, I watch in horror. The fighting goes on, the arrows are fired, the tension is built. Suddenly, I feel an arrow in my forehead, I've been hit, I collapse. Into the sand I fall, into an abyss. This is it. The horses, they stomp on my chest. Shimr, Allah curse him, has placed his foot upon my head because I questioned his motives, his intent. I asked him, Oh Shimr, how could you do this to the grandson of Muhammad, your prophet? I cannot see clear, however, I do hear my sister Zainab, she is so near. It's black again, I'm back again, but I am Zainab, I am a warrior from within. I am Zainab, Akhi ya Hussein, the pain is too monstrous to loosen. Oh Hussein, what have these monsters done to you? I am speaking to you, oh Hussein, for the love of our mother. Please, my beautiful brother, I cannot take this any longer. Speak to me, Hussein. Let me hear your voice, these beasts. You speak. You tell me that I've broken your heart, and to return to the children and the women who aren't too far. Oh Hussein, the martyrdom. This Islamic kingdom shall forever live on. You shall be a legend. I need you, my protector, my brother, my friend. Oh Hussein, this pain, ya Hussein, I can't refrain. It's insane. The enemies of Allah are to blame. They're not ashamed of their crime. How dare they? How dare they kill my brother and think not about being chastised by Allah? By Allah, I ease my thoughts. My family, their lives have been lost, but I'm back. I'm me. I can see with my own two eyes what's in front of me. We're all chanting and panting. We're weeping and crying. It's undeniable. This tension is unidentifiable, and as I pound my hand upon my chest and cry with the others, I will never forget the tragedy of Hussein, his pain, and of Zainab, Sukaina, and of Abbas, his brother. I will always remember their amazing endeavor, and I will pray. I promise I will pray, I will pray, I will stay. I will stay faithful to you, Allah. Forgive me in every way. It is done. The tears have stopped. People begin to gather their items and move along. And as I resuscitate myself from this seizure of forget, I will never will I forget. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Can I get one more loud salawat for that beautiful poem?
Allahumma salli ala
Thank you, Sister Zainab. Our second poet is no stranger. I'd like to welcome Brother Hassan Salami, who will be talking about the battles and misconceptions that we face in the event of Karbala, both inside and outside of Islam. His poem is called His Journey Was for Love. Salawat.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillah. Now this event may sound like a violent one, and you may think that Islam is synonymous with terrorism, but if you think that, then certainly the enemies have won. They have played with your mind and destroyed your reason, because his journey was for love, justice and peace that he preserved in a world that is numb. But what peace has ever arrived without revolution? I said, but what peace has ever arrived without revolution? He says, if the only way Islam survives is if the swords must take me, then let them come. Let my blood run like a stream, like the purity of light beams, like the water I was deprived, let my blood fall. And even if they take us, the old and the small, I will stand for this occasion to answer that call. And verily I will fight and give it all. Every ounce of my soul I will give as I roar. Are you satisfied, my Lord? Because if you wish, please take more. Though I have nothing left to give, I have offered myself and my kids, my heart and my head. I will gladly lay dead if that means Muhammad's religion's avenge and that evil and oppression come to an end. Let the spears carry my limbs. Let the sands be my burial shroud, for no one will bury me, not the ones from this town, not the ones who surround themselves with love for the world, wealth, alcohol, and girls, poison, ingratitude, and pearls, an illusion of happiness that is gone like smoke in the wind. But no, that's not me or my kin. We are the ones who give our lives. Criminals come challenge us, please come and try, not out of arrogance or pride, but submission to the Most High. And even if we must die, bleed heavily and cry. Let the spears carry our limbs, let the sands be our burial shroud, for no one will bury us, not the ones from this town. Not the ones who surround themselves with love for the world, wealth, alcohol, and girls, poison, ingratitude, and pearls, an illusion of happiness that is gone like smoke in the wind. But no, that's not me or my kin. I ask with a faint cry and tired breath, هل من ناصر ينصرني? I ask with a faint cry and tired breath, is there anyone there to help me? Even though I know none will come. With a broken heart as I hold my baby Ali al-Asghar, and that beautiful Qamar, my brother Abbas, and my son Ali, they fought until their last. Call us extreme if you wish, because Yazid uttered the same words. But before you begin, recognize those who seek disunity in the hearts of humans know exactly what to do to make you useless. They place a screen before your eyes to make you believe the truth has become lies. And they put speakers in your ears to make sure that when God speaks, you are too deaf to hear. They have placed images of soldiers to inspire you with fear. They have confused the masses so what's right isn't so clear. They seek to make you a monster, making your morals disappear. But we are above this. We are not animals, but beautiful creations. We are not separate countries, but one massive nation, separated by tricks in every different kind of way. Pointing fingers at our brothers and sisters, saying they are the ones to blame, but we are strengthened by our love, our tears, and our pain. We are strengthened from looking to the heroes who are not seeking this world or fame. And as we learned in Karbala, on that dark desert plain, that true freedom comes from the lessons of our master, Hussein. Every ounce of my soul I will give as I roar. Are you satisfied, my Lord? Because if you wish, please take more. Are you satisfied, my Lord? Because if you wish, please take more. And I have nothing left to give. I've offered myself and my kids, my heart and my head. I will gladly lay dead if it means that Muhammad's religion is avenged and that evil and oppression come to an end. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
ثانيا على فضل الزهراء فاطمة.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Our next poet will be reciting a personal tale that connects with the tragic events of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and her poem is entitled Weeping. Please welcome Sister Nisreen al-Musawi. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
السلام عليكم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Every year we weep for 10 days. 10 days refraining from haram acts. But who are we kidding? We should always act like that. For quite some time, I was one of those people that wept without reason, just kept on believing that Hussein was my great-grandfather, and that was enough reason to keep on weeping. Now I know nothing could ever compare to all the hurt, suffering, and despair that our grandfather faced in Karbala, surrounded by his enemies, his will at their hand. But an event 1 year back pulled my mind out of this track, this loop it's in that had me thinking that nothing was ever truly bad. It all happened the day before Eid, when a stubborn taxi driver wouldn't heed to a poor old man I called Grandpa. Now I know he wasn't my father and he lived in a different country, but knowing every year coming I'd go to visit, he wouldn't be there waiting for me, that was an unforgettable feeling. If that was traumatic for me, imagine Ruqayya with her father's head at her feet, a little girl who not only cried herself to sleep, but died in the process of mourning her father. And what about Zainab, who lived through the whole chain of events only to suffer for the rest of her short life? Her precious face completely changed, that even her own husband couldn't recognize her, watching the soldiers parade around with the head of her brother. No pain or suffering of losing my grandfather could ever compare to that. What I'm trying to say is that without this event to have occurred, I still would have wept without reason, continued believing that nothing was ever truly bad. Sallallahu Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Our next poet will be reciting poetry to remind us of our loyalty to those on the right path and that it is worth sacrificing everything. This is the strive to survive, to keep a promise. Please welcome Sister Dina Atui. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. We honor our parents, our siblings, and all of our leaders, but who could be more honorable than Abbas, who has done nothing less than obeying our Creator? The love he had for Hussein was killing him inside. To see the enemy right there and not fight, he could not decide. Imam Hussein did not let him fight, saying that without him, the army would be in trouble and not see the light. Abbas was one of the most valuable things to Hussein. Hussein could bear anything except see him in pain. Returning to the camp, Abbas heard the children cry. He'd never want this to happen, he'd rather die. The voices of those children begging for water, even Imam Hussein's beloved daughter, had Abbas's heart melt from the inside. His anxiety was boosted, was willing to strive. He promised Sakina to come back with water. He won't come back without it, he won't even bother. He grabbed his sister Zainab, went back to Hussein, begging to get water before those children faint. He allowed him to get water and come back, forcing him to leave his weapons behind. That was the least he can ask. He promised the children to come back with water, and he was to not disappoint the boys and girls, Hussein's daughter. Filling the bucket, the water was cold. Tempted to drink, he did not because of the promise he would uphold. The bucket was filled. Abbas ran back to the camp, not expecting harm, until an enemy shot an arrow, striking his right arm. Striving to keep his promise, he continued without his right, and now another enemy struck him and broke his left arm. Arrows were shot from every side. The one that killed him the most was the arrow that caused the water to fall, allowing him to cry. As he collapsed on the floor, he shouted to his brother, Imam Hussein, no one other. Hussein rushed to Abbas, fighting the enemies on his way, shouting, how could you kill my brother? How could you be this way? He took the head of Abbas and put it on his lap. Abbas refused his head to be there every time, not allowing it to be entrapped. When Hussein asked why, his only reply was, you keep my head now, and later who will keep yours? I'll take you to the camp. Let everyone take one last look. Abbas says no. He doesn't want Sakina to see him after the first promise he broke. My dear brother, you have broken my back. My heart too is under attack. Imam Hussein mourned over his dead brother, wishing this was the last murder and wouldn't witness another. The children, the water, the promise, Abbas was willing to risk his life. How dare we break a promise when he went through that vicious sight? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Our next poet will be reciting a vivid account of our reality in this temporary world, with imagery that reminds us that we have to make the most of our lives and our time on this earth. Please welcome Sister Ashuraa with her poem, Borrowed Body, We've Been Given. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. My borrowed body. My deeds cling to my face like a second skin. They are third-degree burns, screaming for acknowledgement. My mouth is my own open grave, one I dug for myself with sharp tongue, every word uttered a deeper burial. My teeth are crooked in my jaw like fallen tombstones, unable to stand up straight from the shame they are weighted down with. My ears ring loudly, like beaten war drums, warnings I did not heed. They are filled with wounds, bleeding soundless screams, now they are deaf ears. My eyes are funhouse mirrors, streaming broken images, a magnified kaleidoscope of an always nearsighted viewpoint. I cannot unsee what is tattooed to retinas, my eyes shed black tears. My body is my tomb, an inescapable prison of flesh and bone. Skin is the true shroud, the final kafan, if only it were cleaner. My body is a chorus of lament, each organ an old betrayal. My body conspires against me as I once conspired against it. Between pulling of muscle and clenching of teeth, flesh shouts in unison, a jagged wound barred open. What have you done with this borrowed body? Allahumma arzuqna shafa'at al-Hussein, peace be upon him, and may we remember his great sacrifices for what he did with his borrowed body, and we can only hope to emulate that. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Our next poet will be reciting a poem that's relevant to all of us. we will hear about the tragedy of Karbala and that is why we cannot get ourselves to shed tears for Imam, even though we know it is important. Please welcome Sister Manan Reddy. For him I cry. Salah ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum. Travel, my thoughts. As I sit in the mosque on the burgundy hard-back chair, travels away from the speakers chanting in the background, the soft clicks of discreet texting, the kids dashing around, to the contrast of white tissues against the enveloping black as they slowly become stained with the numbing silence of moaning and tears, tissues being crumpled in the hands of heartbroken followers of Hussein. As I listened to their unified cry of sadness, fury, and pain, travel, my thoughts. I will myself to follow their suit, to cry, but my eyes remain dry. Again I try. I attempt to open my eyes wide to help ease the tears way out of my eyes, but I can't understand why they simply remain dry. Travel, my thoughts. I glance at the barren reflection of my face in the clear glass of my phone and begin to think of the land of Karb and Bala, hardship and sacrifice, the lone call of Hussein for support and swords against malice, the dry throats of Sukain and Ruqayya as an unbreakable barrier stood between them and the Euphrates, the face of Sayyidah Zainab after the fall of another martyr, the heart of Ali al-Asghar as it was pierced, the hands of al-Abbas as the water that was once filled is dropped. Again, I will myself to cry, but my eyes still remain dry. Calamity, death, oppression, has my heart hardened? Travel, my thoughts. This time, my mind went to one question, one posed by Ali Akbar to Imam Hussein. Are we on the right path? Yes, came the answer. When one is on the right path, there is no fear. With God's speed, we will proceed. Travel, my thoughts. Through one answer, my heart is filled, my mind freed. To please Allah is the ultimate creed. Fear has forever disappeared when one is on the path of liberation. This path illuminated through the sacrifice of Hussein. Again, I will my eyes to no longer be dry. A tear finally finds its way out of my eye. Liberated my tears, and now I know why. For him, I will always cry. Travel, my thoughts. على حب الحسين صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Salawat. Our next poet will speak to the inner depths of the world and how true love can set us free as it did our beloved Imam, and in the passage for his sacrifice for justice. Please give a loud salawat for Brother Hassan Bazoum and his poem Wedding Day.
ثانية على حب الزهراء. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك وأناخت برحمك. On the 10th of Muharram, after the Maqtal, I arrived home and I felt horrible. It was a different day. And I said to myself, what is this? What's around me? Who am I today and what is this day? And then I thought that today I am the groom and this is my wedding day. I must smile and dance, clap my hands, sing and play. No, not this groom and not this wedding day. Not a joyful stance, not a sweet treat or a bridesmaid. My wedding is in a land far away. And I still haven't arrived. I haven't yet prayed, my soul deprived. My declaration, I love my bride. The sorrow runs deep, as if my heart has died. I tried to revive it, Hard I tried. Hard I tried. See, it has died when Zainab cried. And the more I try, the more death I gain. Ironic it is, the story of my wedding day, for the more my heart dies, the more I live today. Sorrow devoured my heart, shredded in array. Yet this death of my heart brings life my way, and I live through Hussein. I live tomorrow, I live yesterday, I live today. And meaning fills my being. Hussein is within, and within he shall stay. I long to arrive in the land where my wedding will be, so I can propose before my bride and ask her, choose me. Of my bride I think, I wonder, has she heard my plea? Take me with you. Of my bride I wonder, and I think, has she heard my plea? My bride, you are martyrdom, I beg of thee. Take me with you and join me with Hussein. No longer can I live away from his spirit. My being cherishes him and chants his name. I'm in love, yes, I'm in love. In love with Hussein. Love with no depiction and not a coin to gain. I have come to this land where my wedding chimes ring. My vows are my tears, scribed with agony. They sing, take me to Hussein, my bride. Take me to Hussein, my bride. Accept me as your groom on this wedding day. Other than you, I seek no thing. Let my blood as my dowry be given. My death for Hussein enlightens my vision. So take me, my bride, here in Karbala. Dance with me side by side. I fear nothing no more. I seek nothing but your door. Oh, my bride, do you not hear my roar? Take me as your groom this day. Join me with Hussein. There, finally, I will pray. And then, my bride, seal the portals of the world tight. I will not return home after my wedding day. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Can we get a loud salawat for that beautiful poem?
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Our next poets require no formal introduction. Please welcome Sisters Abir Safa and Nasreen with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
10th day of Muharram, children parched
On the verge of dying,
one in particular was hysterically crying.
his throat raw from the water he was denied.
Now us, the only thing standing between that fresh water is a refrigerator door.
We think water is plentiful and will be coming back for more, but
Cease to remember that for some,
water is more than what we make it out to be. Cries heard from miles away.
An arrow plunging into the heart of an innocent child.
A sound so heart-wrenching that it echoes for eternity.
Only a few months old, unable to speak, unable to fight. Yet he was dragged into the biggest battle of Islam.
Abdullah, the slave of God,
The brother of Sukaina,
the son of Hussein, was completely unaware of the impact he would make.
teardrops falling, hearts aching.
What has this child done to deserve this?
The soldiers looked on with their heartless cold eyes, their gaze piercing the freshly wounded body.
Now imagine Hussein at the camp with his son dead in his arms,
Tears in his eyes, ache in his heart. A little boy that was forced to part his father at the age of 6, not 6 years.
6 months.
They speak of the story and say,
That Hussein raised Abdullah to pray.
pray to God and his merciful family, and he said, حَوَّنَا مَا نَزِلَ بِأَنَّهُ بِعَيْنِكَ يَرَى اللَّهُمَّ لَا يَكُنْ عَلَيْكَ أَهْوَنْ مِنْ سَفِيلِ نَاقَةِ صَالِحٍ. And with that, he threw up his hands, throwing the blood of Abdullah, the blood that would never come back down, because he was not worthy for such oppressors to walk amongst.
Blood that was worth more than the jewels that are found or bought. You see, when a
toddler is killed or murdered, we cry.
We cry out to the family who is suffering. We extend our hands to help, to conceal the pain that will forever lay inside their hearts, knowing that no matter where they go or what they do, that child they once called theirs isn't in arm's reach anymore. No matter how far they would walk, they would never find that child they once adored, once called theirs. Now imagine
the same storyline, but worse, having lost a brother, an uncle, a husband, a father.
Ali al-Asghar was laying limp in our beloved Imam's hands.
No pulse.
No heartbeat.
Nothing.
Just a dry throat that once cried for the water the soldiers would never even think about giving him. We imagine, we cry, but then we forget. We forget because we are blessed enough to have the fresh water they once fought for at the tips of our fingers.
Never forget. Never let it slip off your mind, Hussein alayhi salam said.
Every sip of water you take, remember us. Remember us in our martyrdom because we passed for the freedom no one dared to give us.
Humming. Humming was the only thing that was heard. Humming from the cries shed over the infant who is still remembered today.
Soldiers who celebrated over the death of a child they never knew the name of. He choked on his own blood. His face almost filled with happiness until he realized the liquid that was running down his face and neck wasn't what he dreamed of. No, an infant who mistaken his own blood for water. Is that too much to ask for?
All he wanted
was water.
Sallallahu Muhammad wa Muhammad.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Please help me in welcoming to the podium our next poet as she presents her poem Zainab Sees. Please give a loud salawat for Sister Tiba Saddoun. Salawat.
صلوا على محمد وعلى محمد. Oh night, I wish you had not ended. Oh night, I wish you had not ended. Where is the champion that defended these women and children, now lonely, crying for water and so hungry? Oh night, if only you extended your hours and let me hug Hussein, my flower. Now I see a vast land filled with sand, bodies and arrows, the sky covered in dust red, while blood covers the sand, and then the sky turns red. The scene is changed, and a new link is drawn. I see the people of Iraq, Gaza, and Bahrain. I see children like Ali al-Asghar are slain. I see the whole world change. Why? It is the fear of the revolution, the fear of salvation, the fear of freedom, the fear of a perfect nation. This is the enemy's reason, but by God we will catch their evasions. Zainab I am, and this is what I see. Zainab I am, and this is what I see. In one eye, I see Hussein's tragedy, and the other, I see his legacy. I walk upon the sand. I sat trying to find the one, my heart under his command, yet I'm trying to see where he's gone. My brother, where are you? My brother, where are you? Come and see what has happened to me, and look to your legacy. I've been chained, whipped, and bashed, yet a lion I stand, and the pillars of evil I smashed. Forward thousands of years later, your message lives on through the generations, rising against the traitors, using your quotations, using your patience, using your foundations, using your calculations. Fighters from every nation and many thousand locations, resisting evil temptations. They are the people of the future generations. Salawat. O generation 72 in Karbala were slain. O generation 72 in Karbala were slain. Their mission to end an evil reign. Hussein's blood and my resistance
fueled your revolution and existence, and by God and the one who lost his hands. Justice stands and will conquer the lands, no matter how much blood is on the sand. So let the oppressed pray, and remember my situation after the 10th day. For every tear I cry in Hussein, for every tear I cry on the slain, for every tear I cry in vain, for every tear I cry in pain, I swear by Abbas the mighty night. I swear by Abbas the mighty night that each tear brings generations might, that each tear has a message, that each tear embodies every lineage. Yes, oppression is there, but with mine no pain can compare. But future generations do not despair. The Mahdi will come, and this by Abbas I swear. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Our next sister will be reciting a poem that truly puts into perspective our lives as well as our struggles compared to those unimaginable obstacles faced by those in Karbala. Please help me in welcoming Sister Zahra with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Please recite another loud salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
A struggle that burdened my shoulder leaves me aching and hopeless. A struggle weighing me down, encouraging me to give up and cease to focus. A burden so heavy I find that even my back is now broken. Wait a minute. How dare I say I am hopeless when Lady Zainab lost it all and stood there broken. Never once uttered why me, and even after losing Hussein, she continued on hoping. To carry on the religion of Muhammad with her pain, she continued on coping. I stand here in embarrassment, and with shame I am exploding. How dare I pity myself with the urge to give up. If giving up means to give up your hands in prayer, and in prayers you erupt. If giving up means chopping yourself in pieces for Islam and having your body shredded and cut. If giving up means standing for what is good and giving up on what is corrupt. If that is what is meant by giving up, then surely I would not be standing here reflecting upon myself in mere disgust. Have you ever contemplated on the burden of Al-Abbas when hearing the cries of children from tents? He was their hero, and unto him their worries they vent. He gave them his word for water, and surely his word he truly meant. When he galloped upon his horse, scooping up water and heading back for the tent, arrow after arrow piercing through his body, and in his chest they went. But even after he lost his arms, he didn't utter the words, I can't. How dare I speak of a burden so light and say it broke my back? How dare I be so fragile of patience I ever so lack the audacity to utter the word broken, when broken is not simply intact, when Al-Abbas laid on scorching sand motionless, his body under attack, arrow after arrow as his blood began to stack. When running to him Al-Hussein came, heartbroken, his voice it began to crack. Tears in his eyes weeping as he whispered, by Allah, now broken became my back. Salawat.
Can we please give another loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Our next poet will recount a tale that reunites us with our deepest part of ourselves, as well as reuniting us with our beloved ones. Please welcome Brother Hassan Salami to the podium with his poem, A Dream, If Only I See. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. In the darkest of nights, I breathe slowly until I settle steadily into sleep. I become enveloped in a dream. And in this dream, I walk through grasslands and trees. And there I take rest sitting close to nearby streams. In my dream, soon after the sun rises to a higher point in the sky, the point in the sky that signals prayer time, I rise quickly from my seat and march quickly to prepare my head, my arms, and my feet. I complete my wudu, refreshed by water so clear, and I hope it washed away my sins and calmed my heart from fear. As I walked back, a shadowy figure quickly appeared. Although covered in white, he was shedding red tears. For my safety, I became defensive, hoping to avoid this contravention. I asked him, "Who are you? What's your purpose? What's your intention?" As he opened his mouth and spoke with kindness, he said, "I have come to pray before God and to prostrate my head. I have no other intention but to keep goodness widespread, and to pray next to you and maybe share some of my bread." The stranger's presence encompassed my heart with calmness and trust right from the start. So he led the prayer, he commenced the salat. As he recited with a voice so beautiful, I began to cry. I sat there trembling before the Lord of all skies, and as we reached Qunut, I prayed for this man. I prayed for his family and his success with outstretched hands. After he finished, he said with the loudest of voices, "Inna Allah wal malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad." Verily, Allah and His angels send blessings on the Prophet. O you who believe, also send blessings on him, and you salute him with a grand salutation. This man quickly recited this most famous tradition, but then he said, "How do they send blessings on his grandson who lay dead, the one they abandoned who turned the sands of Karbala bright red?" I asked him who he spoke of. He said, "Your master and mine." I told him, "Oh man, this is a subject that is clearly worth our time. Please teach me all their stories if it is no burden on yourself. Their personalities I seek to know, and to their lives I'd like to delve." I asked who were the Prophet's grandsons, and do you know them well? He said, "Yes, I know them, and in number they amount to 12. I said, "What happened to them?" He said, "My dear brother, please gather round, for the birds in the earth will mourn from this sound." He recited, "Assalamu alayka ya Sayyidi ya Rasulallah. Assalamu alayka ya Fatima al-Zahra. Assalamu alayka ya Ali Amir al-Mu'mineen. Assalamu alayka ya Hassan wa ya Aba Abdullah ya Hussein." He paused, weeping heavily when he recited this name. With his head still covered, now soaked with his pain, I still hadn't seen his face, and because he mourned, I kept my space. And I did not know how to respond except that I cried too. Even though I did not know him, it felt like the right thing to do. As he told me who Hussein was and how he gave his pure blood, what he gave for Allah because of his pure love. This expression of sacrifice that was embodied in Hussein, this valiant figure, that since the beginning until the end, no sacrifice was bigger, and before that, Hussein would give to charity the little bread he had for dinner. He would spread food to the poor even if it meant he became thinner. Like his mother, the dear lady, her name Ashuraa, the lessons she gave him, the morals she taught. Like his brother, the poison, his name Hassan, his role model and companion, a true best friend, and his father Ali, the fiercest lion, the one called Haydar, who fought against evil from Badr past Khaybar, and his grandfather Muhammad, the one who wouldn't stop even if you gave him the moon in his left and the sun in his right, he still wouldn't stop preaching about the truth and the oneness of God, and Hussein sought to preserve that banner. Against those who would enslave others, taking advantage of the naive, claiming they were the leaders of those who believed, who would use everything in their power to destroy and deceive, removing everything that the Holy Prophet had come to achieve, the criminal himself, the cursed Yazid, the one who murdered and killed the best of Muslimin. And as the man continued, light burst from his veil. And as he cried, and I cried, my skin became pale, and we wailed, "Wa Husayna, wa Husayna." We embraced each other, crying for Hussein. This man, my new brother, I looked at him ashamed, for I knew nothing about the truth, and he showed me it all. And as he removed his veil, my veils began to fall. And when my eyes cleared, the stranger became no longer strange. I asked him, "My dear brother, who are you? What's your name?" He turned to me as he lifted his head, showing me his face. He said, "I am the master of time. I am the Imam of your age." I shivered violently and I awake, sitting in my bed. I couldn't believe my experience, so I began shaking my head. And as I sat with my face flushed so bright red, in disbelief, I recognized it was a dream. Not reality, I knew, so I became more at ease and began to get up, although I was shocked and amazed, confused and dazed. Looking to the left of my bed laid a message, a handwritten page. It said, "Just open your books and begin reading their words. Don't be like the misguided, like a sheep moved in herds. If you want to see me again, just look to Hussein. I am embodied in every single ounce of his pain. Follow Allah and you will be in my presence again. Pry inside of you and you will decide when. And if you forget my look and you want to see me, young man, remember my face is printed in every letter of the Quran. Signed your leader, your master and Imam, Muhammad ibn al-Hasan, Sahib al-Zaman. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad."
على حب الزهراء.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
To reinvigorate our souls with the love of our beloved Imam, may it melt the ice that has frozen our souls. Please welcome our next sister, Abir Safa, to the podium with her poem, Warmth. Salawat.
Warmth. Warmth is what I feel as my tears slip out of my eyes and roll down my cheeks. I can feel the cool air brushing against my back as it is facing the entrance. But warmth. Warmth is what I feel, what takes over my face. Warmth of the tears that will forever be shed as long as I live. I want these tears to stain my face. I want streaks running down my cheeks and meeting up with my chin. I want non-believers to know why I cry, why I mourn over Sayyida Fatima, why I mourn over Abbas, why I mourn over Hassan, Ruqayya, Abdullah and Hussein, why I mourn over Muslim and all of the martyrs that passed on the day of Ashuraa. I want my tears to stain my face. Even if I have to tattoo them on, I will. I want my eyes to glisten always. I want them to break like glass at the mention of the name of Imam and Hussein. I sit there gently rocking myself back and forth, back and forth. I cup my face into my hands that have dried up a bit too much, and there it is again, warmth. When the rest of my body is cold, my face is warm. That warmth travels down my face and sometimes through my fingers, dripping down my hands, causing them to burn from the paper cuts I never knew I had. I can hear the crowd humming, even if I'm nearly sitting outside, but still. Humming that escalates quickly throughout the whole building, echoing off the walls and creeping their ways into my ears. The speakers roar and I make out the words of, وَقَطَعُوا رَأْسَ الْحُسَيْنِ. His voice breaks and fades, and so does my vision. I felt my heart beat, ache, and destroy like the winds of a hurricane. Blame the oppressors that caused the pain that no one could ever feel. If my heart was affected this much, how can Sayyida Zainab alayhi salam ever bear to watch the martyrdom of al-Hussein? I look up once to see an aged woman seated next to me, wrinkles that hover over her face and tears soaking up into her skin. I want to age like the sister I don't know the name of. I want to age like her and spend all of my years crying and remembering Hussein. But then again, I'm pretty sure everyone gathered today, the reason why there isn't any air left to breathe, are thinking the same thing. Remembering, mourning, but never forgetting. Oh Hussein, I promise you that as long as this earth still rotates and the sun still shines, for you I will remember and for you I will cry. For you, Ya Shaheed, the martyr of Islam. Salawat.
صلى على محمد وآل محمد. Our next poet will be reciting a poem that requires all your voices at certain points. So please do not shy away from showing your love for our beloved Imam al-Hussein and his blessed family and his companions. Please welcome Brother Mahdi with the loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Salawat. There's one stanza in this poem that I would like you to repeat. It is called Live Like Muhammad, Fight Like Ali, Die Like Hussein. It's towards the end of the poem. Thank you. दो बार नमाज शहीद हुई एक मस्जिद में एक मकतल में. Twice, your family's prayers interrupted by the sharp blades of your enemies unsuspected. Your prayers were not for anything but for thankfulness, for peace, simply and purely the mercy of Allah indeed. But your enemies, too attached to the world they lived in, forgot, no, ignored who they were attacking. The grandson of the Prophet, he announced many times, to leave everyone else and to attack him, he had tried. He'd offered truce, he'd offered peace, he'd offered money, he'd offered more. Anything that would take these enemies away from this war. But the enemies refused, blinded by greed, by false pride, by false promises, they went on with their deed. One would say though, one would even try to ponder, why mourn for this family? Why even bother? Their family history is of martyrs. Their lineage is of nothing but sorrow. But Imam Zainab replied and simply countered, have you seen your sisters, your aunts, your daughters tortured? Have you seen them walk miles on end under an unforgiving sun with no means, no end? Have you seen the burning of the tents so bright, so white, so intense, that heat melted all hope in sight? Have you seen these children tortured by grown men, slapped, trampled, forced to walk and chained by them? Have you seen your fathers, your brothers and your friends, all beheaded, looted, and tortured again? After that, speechlessness, and we simply cry. Tears and tears never hold them back, so simply soften your heart with these tears of Hussein, and ask yourself this, why? And why Hussein? Why again? This family endured so much and never gave in. We are why. The people of good faith striving for peace, against oppression of all kind, against hypocrisy and cheat. We strive to gain from these messages so old, but noble and pure, they will never fold. The pressures of the world is gaining as we speak, but the lessons from Karbala, we are here to heed. These rhymes tonight, these poems of sorrow, not just for emotional response and simply to follow, but take it deeper, inside yourself. Change your heart as it may. Like Hud, be true to the message against the influence of the pay. For these 2 months and 8 days of mourning and grief, for this hero who sacrificed everything, simply for none but for us indeed. Live like Muhammad, fight like Ali, die like Hussein. Live like Muhammad, fight like Ali, die like Hussein. Live like Muhammad, fight like Ali, die like Hussein. Repeat this with me and see. Watch as this lineage of sorrow will truly make you free. Live like Muhammad, fight like Ali, die like Hussein. Live like Muhammad, fight like Ali, die like Hussein. Remember the life, the walk of Muhammad. Remember the lessons, the virtue of Ali. Remember the patience, the strength of Fatima. Remember the strength, the words of Hassan. Remember the sacrifice, the love of Hussein. Remember the courage, the bravery of Zainab. Remember the loyalty, the compassion of Abbas. The tenderness, the care, the one so young. Sakina, Ruqayya, remember her. Remember her struggle, so young, so much she had seen. So much she had toiled, her hand so small, herself so pure, and now she lay rest in a prison so far away, so far from her father, yet she still persevered. Stay strong for the children, never asked for anything. Remember her struggle, remember your struggle. Remember your strength lies in those who you follow tonight. So hold on to this one last thing, and say it again, and soon you will live by it and see. Live like Muhammad, fight like Ali, die like Hussein. Thank you. Salawat.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
صلى على محمد وآل وآل محمد. Our next poet will reignite the heat within our hearts. Please welcome Brother Hassan Bazoon with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
السلام على الشيب الخضيب، السلام على الخد التريب، السلام على البدن السليب، السلام على الثغر المقروع بالقضيب، السلام على الحسين الغريب. Let's clear before the 10th of Muharram. I didn't know what to expect that night. And I was awaiting that day. And I could just imagine how the events of tomorrow will unfold. And I felt a pain in my chest. And I put my head and I said, what is this? And then I realized that in the heart within is a burning flame. Essentially, entirely throbs of shame. And as I ponder, a long gaze came, the emptiness deepens, and the blame, the loneliness, never the same, and in the heart within is a burning flame. The shriek, the shreds of pain ripping across, the regret growing intensity without pause. A clenching fist, a bending wrist, a resting head, a crying heart, screaming loudly but feeling dead, desperate, hurt, betrayed, many tears red, stained with blood and not enough words said, and in the heart within is a burning flame. I feel such as I recall and wonder the sense of Hussein that I remember. So long he stood. Never did he surrender. Alone, alone, and alone, with no defender, not a helping hand. And long did he ponder, and in the heart within is a burning flame. Forward he looked and surely saw death, pain, beasts ready to claw, merciless against him, he with no flaw. And behind him he looked, but surely saw a broken love that would never withdraw or leave him behind. Tears, warm and raw. And the heart within is a burning flame. It was Zainab who stood behind, close, watching the sight, the journey he chose. I will never forget, she says, the beautiful rose of faith, you, beloved brother, to my heart close. And she gave her farewell with pain, and she rose. And in the heart within is a burning flame. And Hussein went and departed away. His face rested above the land that lay. His heart, his hand, his throat bled today. His body torn by thugs morally astray. Peace be upon Hussein. Hurt, I pray. And in the heart within is a burning flame. And as I listen, the scene before my eyes is drawn. The gasp of Zainab's mighty heart at the break of dawn. The fragrance of Akbar's passion after death has gone. And Abbas next to the river's bed, never forgone. I see and I cry, I hear and I weep, long thereon. And in the heart within is a burning flame. Regret haunts me. Why was I not there to receive the sword with my chest bare? How did I not answer the call or show you care? Why is it that you suffer and die? Is it fair that you, my beloved, are killed and I dare to live and smile and my life I don't spare? But in the heart within is a burning flame. My beloved, my remedy, my night and day, my passion, Hussein, an enlightening array of love, mercy, and sacrifice, then and today. Never will I forget you, not a chance or a way. Your name lives endlessly within me, and I won't betray. I won't betray Zainab's tears, nor will I ever show you dismay. And in the heart within is a burning flame. Take my word, one which with my blood I wrote. My heart is yours, my flesh, my throat. Forever my chants will remain loud and I gloat. A servant of Hussein I am. Let humanity note this quote. Within me is Hussein. A servant of Hussein I am. Let humanity note this quote. And though regret, pain, sorrow, hurt, and misery flowed within my being for not defending my beloved with my throat, I will never forget Hussein. Never, never, never. Tell the world, let me scream, let me break my rhyme as my heart tears when I recall that Hussein was killed for no crime other than for being the noble Hussein. My being is Hussein. My existence is Hussein. And in the heart within is a burning flame. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. To conclude this powerful night dedicated to the masters of the martyrs, his blessed family, as well as his companions, our last poem stands to depict the struggles of those during, before, and after tragedy of Karbala. Please help me in welcoming Brother Hassan Salami with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This poem is about one of the biggest inspirations to me. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. A daughter sits in her father's lap. His arms around her, they are wrapped. The silence breaks and then she asks, Baba, do you love me? Her father responds, yes, of course. She asks again, Baba, do you love Allah? He says, of course I love Allah, my dear. The brilliant child says, well, Baba, how can you have two loves in your heart and both of them be sincere? He says to her, my beautiful girl, the answer is so clear. For Allah has asked us to love our children and hold them close and keep them near. She smiles at her father as his face shined with light, but what smile could carry on through all of her plight on the blood-drenched sands of those desert nights? She is dragged in chains, her heart exploding in pain, her mouth dry of thirst, but never did she put herself first. While her brother was just slaughtered by their swords, she was already immersed in remembrance of her Lord. She stayed strong as her nephew walked by her side. They attempted to humiliate them and rip them from their pride, but they did not understand that what lived inside, that this woman and her family, unafraid to die, that they would not stand aside while these men committed their crimes, no matter what kind of oppression their enemies would provide when they tried to stop them. Divide and misguide was the objective. If the dust is in your eyes, clear your lenses. If you want to pretend this never happened, then try wiping away the poison from the sword of Ibn Mulchin. Try removing the toxins from the intestines of Hassan. Try stopping the arrows that blocked the sun out before falling on Ali al-Asghar. Try blocking the spear that pierced the chest of Ali al-Akbar. Try drying up the water that leaked from the pouch of Abbas. The Karbala, take my hand, we'll follow their tracks and see if you can hide the shrine of Abu Abdullah. Impossible. Allah has protected this family. Verse 33, they are pure, but this battle was never forgotten, his sister reassured. And in the court she said, O son of the liver eater, O son of Hind your grandmother, O son of the pagans of Badr, one who thinks you have brought us defeat, remember Allah only gives you this time so you can increase yourself in evil deeds. I am the daughter of Rasulullah, and my mother, Khadijat al-Kubra. I am the daughter of Ali and Fatima al-Zahra. I am the sister of Hassan and Abbas. I will tell this story to every traveler I pass. I watched my family fight until they all were dead. I witnessed the sands of Karbala turn red. My name is Sayyida Zainab. I am the owner of all of this pain, but I will take it over 1,000 times for Hussein. وإني أعلم إني أقتل ثم أحرق ثم أغرق في الهواء يفعل بي ذلك 1000 مرة ما تركتك يا حسين. If I knew I would be killed and burned and my ashes would be thrown in the wind and I was brought back alive and I was killed and burned and they did this to me 1,000 times, I still would not leave you, O Hussein. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
ثانيا على حب أبي عبد الله الحسين بأعلى أصواتكم.
I would like to give a special thank you to all of our poets who reinvigorated our minds, hearts, and body and souls with the undying message of Imam Hussein. Please salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. To close our program, Brother Hassan Bazoon will be reciting a short latmiya. Ba'anak ya Imam, salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
We would like to ask the brothers to move forward and join us in this Latmiya session. The act of doing latam for Imam Hussein alayhi salam is not a mere stance of somebody beating their chest in vain. Rather, latam is an expression of love towards the Imam, an expression of understanding his message in Karbala. And I will need your help. بايعناك يا إمامي أنت ولينا في كربلاء يا حسين أنت هادينا. بايعناك يا إمامي أنت ولينا في كربلاء يا حسين أنت هادينا. بايعناك يا إمامي أنت ولينا في كربلاء يا حسين أنت هادينا. بايعناك يا إمامي أنت ولينا في كربلاء يا حسين أنت هادي. بعد مرة بايعناك يا صوت أنت ولينا في كربلاء يا حسين أنت هادينا. طاق الهدى لمرآك نارا تكويني هان الردى للقاك يا نور ديني. طاق الهدى لمرآك نارا تكويني هان الردى للقاك يا نور ديني. كل يوم جرحه بات يدميني به قد طاب النداكم يا مهدينا. بايعناك يا إمامي في كربلاء يا حسين أنت هادينا. بايعناك يا إمامي في كربلاء يا حسين أنت هادينا. كان القوم في سبات ردحا طويلا كان الدين في الحياة يحبو ذليلا. كان القوم في سبات ردحا طويلا كان الدين في الحياة يحبو ذليلا. قمت أنت يا حسين صرت سبيلا صار الموت في رضاك دربا مبينا. بايعناك يا إمامي أنت ولينا في كربلاء يا حسين أنت هادينا. بايعناك هاج القلب بالشجون يا ضياء دربي، كيف طالت كالمانون قد زاد كربي. هاج القلب بالشجون يا ضياء دربي، كيف طالت كالمانون قد زاد كربي. مهما طالت السنون يشهد ربي، بالدماء نحيي ذكراك مهما حيينا. مهما طالت السنون يشهد ربي، بالدماء نحيي ذكراك مهما حيينا. بايعناك يا إمامي في كربلاء يا حسين أنت هادينا. بايعناك يا
إمامي أنت ولينا، في كربلاء يا حسين أنت هادينا.
يا لصيحات الحوراء في أرض الطفوف، يا لصيحات الحوراء في أرض الطفوف، تبكي أمها الزهراء والحشد ألوف. تبكي أمها الزهراء والحشد ألوف. جل بآب العذاب أقصى الحتوف. يا لثارات الحسين يا مؤمنين، بايعناك يا إمامي
أنت ولينا، في كربلاء يا حسين أنت هادينا.
بايعناك يا إمامي
أنت ولينا، في كربلاء يا حسين أنت هادينا.
طاق الهدى لي مرآك نارا تكويني، هان الردى للقاك يا نور ديني. كل يوم جرحه بات يدميني، به قد طاب النداء قم يا مهدينا. كان القوم في صبات ردحا طويلا، كان الدين في الحياة يحبو ذليلا. قمت أنت يا حسين سخط سبيلا، صار الموت في رضاك دربا مبينا. هاج القلب بالشجون يا ضياء دربي، كيف طالت كالمانون قد زاد كربي. هاج القلب بالشجون يا ضياء دربي، كيف طالت كالمانون قد زاد كربي. مهما طالت السنون يشهد ربي، بالدماء نحيي ذكراك مهما حيينا. يا لصيحات الحوراء في أرض الطفوف، تبكي أمها الزهراء والحشد ألوف. يا لصيحات الحوراء في أرض الطفوف، تبكي أمها الزهراء والحشد ألوف. جل بآب العذاب أقصى الحتوف. يا لثارات الحسين يا مؤمنين، بايعناك يا إمامي
أنت ولينا، في كربلاء يا حسين أنت هادينا.
صلى على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوصيين. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء سيدتي نساء العالمين. سيدي يا أبا عبد الله، طبتم وطابت الأرض التي فيها دفنتم، فيا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز فوزا جميعا. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. السلام على عقيلة بني هاشم أم المصائب أم القلب الصبور الحوراء زينب أخت الحسين. السلام على الأخ الوافي الفادي لأخيه بنفسه قطيع الكفين وسهم في إحدى العين. السلام على أخي الحسين العباس الشهيد ورحمة الله وبركاته. Everybody say with me. حبيبي يا حسين حبيبي يا حسين حبيبي يا حسين مظلوم حسين عطشان حسين غريب حسين شهيد حسين. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وصل يا رب على محمد وآله الطاهرين.
صل على محمد